Welcome to Storie van die Suburbs. I am Rian Pottas, your property practitioner in the northern suburbs of Cape Town. One of the best parts of my job is meeting the locals and listening to their stories. Follow us on our journey as we share some of these stories with you. In this episode, I had the opportunity to speak to Zak Scott. He is a fine-tuned personal trainer working from Virgin Active Gym in Durbanville. We learn today that he is quite a complex character and discover him to be a surprisingly relaxed person in such a high-energy environment. He plays a deciding role in the physical and often mental health of his clients. From dealing with newly engaged with short-term goals to others with lifelong intentions, he is here to assist you on your journey.
I think a real job really just entails if you get money or not, doesn't it?
I think back at the times I decided to join the gym and leave a few months later, but
It was like 2 weeks at home. Dad looks at me, says, "What are you doing? You know, like, why not at class?" And I was like, "I'm sorry, done. We don't work for Virgin Active. We actually tenants. So we rent the space."
Reg so. Ek sal 7 uur daar wees. Ek gaan die koper saam met my bring. 100%. Sien daar. Dankie hoor. Tata. Hi, my naam is Rian Pottas. Ek is 'n agent by die nommer 1 eiendomsagentskap in die wêreld. Soek jy iemand wat jou eiendom in die kortste moontlike tyd teen die hoogste moontlike prys kan verkoop? Kontak my gerus deur die skakel onder die video en gebruik my wye netwerk tot jou guns.
Hi Zak, thank you for having us at your workplace.
Yeah, basically my second home, yeah.
Yeah, my first question is this a real job?
Yeah, basically, I think a real job really just entails if you get money or not, doesn't it?
Yes. And it must make you sweat.
You don't really want to sweat in an office space though.
You're not working hard enough if you're not sweating. Just a little bit, you got to work.
Okay, no, I see.
Got to work. The way you wear a vest.
Yeah, no, I'm not really much
Absorb
of a...
the sweat.
Okay, yeah, I see what you mean.
How long have you been doing this as a job?
So I basically did 2 years of studying where I studied sports conditioning as well as 1 year in college where I did a year of marketing, but I cut that out. I didn't finish through with that. And then basically ever since I was about 20, I worked at the gym as a fitness instructor. So that's basically just packing away the weights.
Okay.
You work for the gym, they give you their hours, and then you basically close the gym, open the gym, and you work your shifts in, do a couple of classes. So I did that for about a year. And then that I did while I was finishing up my studies. And then while I went from there over to work full-time, I did that full-time for a year. And after that, they said, listen, we'd obviously be interested in you maybe looking at a personal training position because I had one that was open. And that was, I think about the age of 22. So I'm turning 28 now, so about 6 years.
And it's been paying the bills for 6 years.
Yeah.
I did stalk you on Instagram. There's a GTI in your garage.
Yeah, there was a GTI in the garage.
So this could get you a GTI and have you lose it.
Yeah, well, it can actually get you a GTI and trade that in and buy a BM M240i.
Oh.
Yeah, so it can.
So this is a real job.
It is a pretty, it's like I said, if it pays the bills, yes, by all means. But the biggest thing when it comes to personal training is the more you put in, the more you get out. So a lot of people think, personal training, it's not really much of a job. You tell people to, just pick up weights and move things around. It's a little more than that. You obviously build relationships with people. You get people at different phases of their lives and things like that. And basically what a lot of the guys don't necessarily understand is what you put in, the hours you get in, the effort you put in. You're not going to necessarily get it from the start, but you obviously might reap the benefits later on. People understanding that you obviously are a good trainer, friendly with everyone, and you build your rep based on that. But pretty much.
That's a really interesting just wrap of the whole job. I've not thought about it in that way at all. You mentioned people in different phases of their life. That's actually a very good point, because I think back at the times I decided to join the gym and leave a few months later, but there was always some underlying motivation as to what I want to go do in the gym.
Why would you come to the gym? You know, there's lots of reasons. You know, obviously lots of people focus on just themselves, you know, just mental health and physical growth and whatnot. But a lot of people also use it as a place to like escape, you know. They'll come to the gym, they'll say, you know, take an hour of their time where they can just literally shut off, put their head down and focus on the weights, you know, and kind of just get out of the world a little bit.
What inspired you to do this? Were you always a fit-o and said, I want to get into fitness? Because you said marketing too.
Yeah.
When did marketing change to fitness?
When I left school, I had absolutely no idea what I wanted to do. So my parents were just like, listen, just go do a marketing diploma, Boland College in Stellenbosch. And they were basically like, just get something under your belt. Roughly got up to like October, and I just didn't rock up to class anymore. It was like 2 weeks at home. Dad looks at me, says, what are you doing? You know, like, why not at class? And I was like, I'm sorry, done. Not going to do this. So he's like, well, what are you going to do? So it's like, you got to think that's your gap year gone now, you know? So I just decided, you know what? I enjoy training. It's what I do every day. So I'll just maybe go into something with regards to that and see what happens.
That's
you
pretty
know?
well.
But again, it wasn't something that I thought I was going to make a living out of. I didn't think, when I grow up, I want to be a personal trainer. You know, I knew I had to do something. It was just a matter of finding out what. And then obviously, when I studied the course, I did the diploma and whatnot. Again, I still had no idea what I was going to do. And like I said, at that time, I was still working at Virgin Active, and right there and then they said, listen, if you work here, you do well with the people, we see you are pretty clued up and whatnot, why don't you maybe look at, you know, going into personal training? And at that point, when I was done with studying, there was a little part of me who wanted to maybe look into life coaching, because like I said, I enjoyed people, I enjoy chatting, I enjoy figuring out, you know, how people are and understanding, you know, the place that they're in, what they're doing. And so I then decided maybe I should go into a nutrition course. So I then applied at CPUT for a degree in nutrition. And as I was about to put in my resignation, they were like, listen, we have this personal training slot open. Why don't you maybe try it out? I thought, you know, semester only starts next year. It was coming up to the end of the year, last bit of my practical hours for college. I thought, you know what, let's give it a go for 2-3 months, see where it takes me. And 6 years down the line, I'm still here. 5 o'clock in the morning, usually roughly end 7-8 in the evening, and I love it.
So you love what you do. What would you say is your favorite part? Do you have a favorite part of your day or your week? What's your favorite part of what you do?
I think my favorite part of my job is I don't wake up knowing how the day is going to go. I mean, trying to sit down and have get the interview going. It's 500 ups and downs and lefts and rights, you know, because the day changes so much. So some days I'll have a client say, listen, we're going to have a hard session, we're going to work out, cool. And then we do that. And then the next day you'll have a session where a client will say, you know what, not really keen on training today, let's, you know, go have a coffee. Then we go have a coffee. Or some clients will come and say, listen, got this new car, come check it out, you know, and then we go through to the garage, check it out, you know, chat about it. It's never the same. Every day is different.
Amazing.
And when you wake up in the morning, you can't say, I'm working now from 5 to 8, then I clock off. The day is just a mystery. Whatever happens, happens. Some days you can wake up with 15 clients, and that's how your day is going to be. And some days you only end up training 6 of them. And the rest of the time, the day changed, people shifted, things happened, and like I said, like I said, and just very, very spontaneous, which is quite nice.
What would be your least favorite part?
Probably the fact that everyone here thinks that we actually work here. We don't work for Virgin Active, we actually tenants. So we rent the space and we pay about 7-6 a month. And whatever happens in these 4 walls is up to us. Whatever income we get, whatever we make, it comes to us. What we do with it is what we want, as long as at the end of the month our 7.5 is paid.
They've got their cut.
That's fine. But then you'll get lots of members, obviously, because we're sponsored by Adidas. Virgin Active puts their name on the shirt.
I see.
So what happens now? Virgin Active, name badge, you work for the gym.
How does the machine work?
Exactly. And then it never worked. It never goes down well when I say, I don't work here. You're literally saying, I don't work here. But there's a Virgin Active on your shirt. So you're literally, every time I say it, I feel like I'm physically lying to your face with a straight face because I don't work here. But no one's gonna, I've literally had someone look at me and look at the Virgin Active sign. And I said, it is a Virgin Active sign, but I don't work here. I'm just a tenant. So that's always difficult. Every time you're with a client, someone comes in, says, hey, listen, can you help me with this? And then I have to have that awkward conversation of, I actually don't work here. And they're like, but you're helping that person. And then it's always awkward.
Have you got plans for this year? What are you doing for 2023 that's going to be big? Is there big Zak plans for this year?
Basically, at the moment, my biggest thing is work in your 20s, and then you're going to reap later on in your 30s, 40s going forward. So the biggest plans I've had pretty much for the past 5 to 6 years so far has been save as much as you can, focus on putting away 60% of your salary, save as much as you can. Obviously, that was just the position that I'm in at the moment. Not having wedding bells going off or anything like that anytime soon, so I'm able to focus my energy a lot in, working as much as I can. So nothing big planned necessarily, other than a little overseas trip for holiday, November side, but that's pretty much a given. But other than that, for now, I put my head down and I'm pretty much just...
Which is your big plan? Which has been your plan for the last 6 years? So
Yes.
you don't have a plan for this year, you've got a plan for a couple of years.
Yes.
For your 20s.
Yes, more like my 20s, basically.
Okay.
I'm 28 now, so... I think definitely when I do go into that phase of my life, my 30s, I will definitely sit down and think a little bit more further where I want to be. But that's something that I'm excited for. That's something that's going to happen. That's something that's going to come, in time, and I'll figure that out then. But the biggest thing is when that time comes, I like to know that I will be financially stable.
And in this period of hard graft, it sounds like you've been focused for a couple of years. Did you learn anything that you think that's quite important that you can share with the viewers that they could apply in their life? Sounds like you sorted out quite a couple of stuff already.
Yeah. Look, the biggest thing that I would say is ultimately that I can focus on that plays a massive part in my life as well as a massive part in my business and my job is, and we've all heard it countless times, it doesn't fail, consistency. I've had busy months and I've had quiet months, but the consistency was always making sure that I was here in the mornings, I was here in the evenings, I was here so that people still saw me readily available here, consistency, being in work, being at gym. There's been 3 or 4 months where I've had the worst months of gymming. Every session I leave there thinking it wasn't good enough, it wasn't hard enough, it wasn't enough. But then I look back and all of a sudden something kicks, 5th month comes and things start to change. And the only reason why that happened was because the months prior, I consistently just kept at it, kept moving, kept going. I can very much see like these short little weekends that we have. I sit to laze around because I think I'm super, super busy in the week, and now I just want to chill. And come Monday, that 5 a.m. client is way too difficult than it needs to be, because, obviously not the client itself, but more waking up at 4:30 or 4:15 and having to get you. So the most important thing I would say is just keeping at it, because if I didn't constantly keep at it for the past 6 years, if I took big breaks or in between where I just shut off and fell off the bus and came back and had a roller coaster of a ride, it would never have been as, successful as it has been now, just constantly making sure every day, just doing a little bit, keeping at it, and moving forward.
That's definitely good advice. Thanks for sharing. You mentioned you're going away later on this year. Do you enjoy international travel? Do you like taking big breaks?
Yeah, it's actually something I've been spoiling myself to recently. My first 5 years of work, I never took leave. I worked straight up till the 23rd of December, got back 3rd of Jan, put in the hours, put in the work. Public holidays I was here, Saturdays I was here, Sundays I was here. Worked, I think since I started working, I've worked till 7 o'clock every Friday night. And basically this year I decided, you know what? I want to live a little. I want to experience life a bit. I want to enjoy, life and not necessarily just be an ostrich in the sand, focusing on just work. And so last year I headed over to the UK for my first overseas trip, which was quite fun. And then we headed over to Scotland. So it's not a regular thing. It's something that I've actually been wanting to do now going forward. So we want to head back to Netherlands. We want to go through to Netherlands and Germany. So not very experienced, but something I definitely want to look into, because I think, like, at the end of the day, we can make as much money as we want, but what is real value in life? And that's experience. Experiences and people. And
coming back and telling us some stories. Tell me, all the way from London back home, where did you grow up? Where are you from?
From here, born and bred, Durbanville. Pretty much whole life lived in a small little dorpy, Durbanville.
So this is the Virgin Active where you were working. This one.
I actually, the year that I worked for Virgin Active, physically worked for, employed was Cape Gate Virgin Active.
Okay.
And as soon as I finished up with my year there, I transferred over to here. But yeah, Durbanville, Al Shaddai was my primary school, roughly about till grade 5. Went over to Durbanville Primary, so still very local, and ended off at Fairmont High, as you take from the English.
So where do you live, Zach?
So I pretty much just stay on the outskirts, Goedemoed area, pretty much close to Groot Versantkrade restaurant.
I live in Goedemoed. It's a lekker place.
Is it?
Yeah. Kwaggastraat. I know you're not allowed to say where you live because you have followers. A lot of people stalk you. I don't have that, mate. I live in Kwaggastraat. I'm a Kwaggastraat.
Okay.
I live in Kwaggastraat.
For next time. Yeah, no. I get enough now, obviously, with your number being out here. You get one or two that are not necessarily here for the training. They're very much here on the personal side of things, but obviously.
Waar bly jy? Where do you live? What time do you get there?
Yeah, what number? But yeah, so pretty much outside there is about
near Kwaggastraat suburb.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
okay, cool.
Hopefully.
I like it in Kwaggastraat.
But about 15 minutes drive or so.
I recently joined the neighborhood watch of Goedemoed, so I'm there at night checking the cameras, keeping you safe.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, like
Kyk die goeters, ek check the owls running around, we send the owls to catch them. While we on the Durbanville topic, do you think there's anything that the people in Durbanville could do better to make Durbanville a better place, or could do differently? What can we as the people do to make our dorpie a better dorpie?
If I had to say that, it's obviously very, very on the spot, but if I had to just look back on myself and say the one thing that I try to do differently every day is, when it comes to driving and road rage and all of that, at the end of the day, like, it doesn't help just smashing out on people because of the way that they drive or the things that they're doing, and they're hooting and they're flicking you off and all of that. At the end of the day, whatever you're going to say to that person, there's only ever going to be a chance that you're either going to ruin their day or nothing's going to come of it. So I'd say, if anything, just the way that, how everything gets super congested here with the power outages and the robots and everything, just to calm down a bit, just chill a little bit on the end of the fact that it's everyone is all over the place. Everything is uncertain and whatnot. And now all of a sudden you want to make it even worse by fluking a guy out, you know, or hooting at someone because they're not necessarily driving quick enough or whatnot. So other than that, it's pretty much, I would say everyone's on par, I guess.
Okay.
You know?
Durbanville, drive better. Calm down. Calm down. If you check a windgat BM, the O is not windgat. Just calm down. He's rustig.
It's
calm down.
a black BM. But
It's a black windgat BM.
Black windgat BM.
But does it sound windgat?
Potentially.
But he's chill. And he would like you to chill too. Zak, if you had the attention of the government for 2 minutes, these O's are going to listen to you. They're going to listen because Zak has said, I'm Zak, and you're going to listen. I'm groot. What are you going to tell them?
Imagine 100 people in a room breathing on each other for 4 hours. That is what I'm working with in Virgin Active, and no windows. So if I had to say something, it would be to acknowledge again, please put the electricity on.
Just please fix the power.
Just please fix the power, because you cannot, you get you in the morning, it's like 5 o'clock, now the gym opens. That pool has been simmering there the whole night. So that heat has now risen, it's now all the way at the top. The air cons are not going, so everything sits. And then after hour 3, I start feeling like I'm going to pass out because it's so hot in here. Everyone comes in and they train for their hour and then they leave and then they go outside and then it's fine. But obviously when you're sitting here for 6, 7, 8 hour stints, you get a little bit, stuffy, but how would you say, uncomfortable.
That's a message for the government.
Yeah.
So now, if you look at that camera over there, that one
that just looked at me.
That one speaks to the world.
Oh.
That one is connected to the world. So if you could have 2 minutes for the world, what are you going to tell that camera over there?
I think I'm going to take it back again to the biggest piece of advice that I can give. And again, consistency when it comes to anything. Keeping a daily routine, just making sure that small little battles are made and won every single day. And when you look back, you realize you've actually taken on the whole war, you know? So how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
That's it. And the world goes wild. Yeah. The world appreciates it. Yeah. Zak, thank you very much for having us here today. It was super cool talking to you.
Yeah,
I came here wondering, what is a personal trainer in Afrikaans? And is it really a job? And I've learned that you actually have a very important role in people's lives. You do something big. It makes sense why this is a job. Well done. Thank you very much.
No, I appreciate it. No, it was definitely...
Thank you.